Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be my quarterly favorites. So basically in the months of April, May, and June, I will be putting on the screen all the books that I have read. I finished 28 books, so it's been a good amount of books quantity-wise. I do feel like my ratings have been on the lower side. Not terribly. I've only given 1 star to one book, but a couple 2 stars and a couple of disappointments overall. But I think this season, summer season, is going to be the best one ever. But I still found enough books to do a top 5, so to give you some recommendations for anyone that is looking to pick up something during the summer. So let's talk about my favorite ones. A new favorite author, although he's not very active lately, would be Kaijan. I did read The Kite Runner and The Thousand Splendid Suns, and I had to include both of them in this video. They're considered contemporary fiction, historical fiction-ish. That's kind of stretching it a little bit, but still. Both are inspired by tragedies that have been going on the last couple of years in Afghanistan. And both stories obviously touched me enough to make it to this video. Let's start with The Kite Runner, which I ended up falling in love with it so hard. That's the first one I read, and I wasn't prepared. Like, I knew that the author was very quotable and that he tended to write very like heartbreaking stories, which I have to be in the right mood to read these kind of books, because sometimes I feel easily like emotionally manipulated, and like you see what the author is doing and like if you're not enjoying it, it's not working for you. But whenever you are enjoying the characters, the story, the writing, then it breaks my heart and I'm all for it, which is the case with his books. And in this one, you're mainly following Amir, who is a little boy in the beginning, friends with Hassan, and then, you know, growing up over there and participating at one point in a kite runner kind of competition, so hence the title. And you see him growing up. There's a few like flashbacks and flash forward, and I struggle at times because the main character is flawed. Like, it's purposely there. He's there to frustrate you, which he definitely did. I really struggled because, like, I don't mind unlikable main characters, but like this one isn't meant to be neither. He's just like a real person. And I'm not saying that in his shoes I would have done that much differently, although some of these things, yes. But still, it's just so hard to read because of that. Wonderful story. One of my all-time favorite characters now is Hassan, and I did overall enjoy the complexity of Amir. But yes, such a tough book to read. Definitely do recommend it. Obviously, check out some trigger warnings for that one. But yes, needed to be in this video. And like I mentioned, The Thousand Splendid Suns, which for some reason, too many H's, I can never pronounce the beginning. And I had been told that this one I would probably enjoy even more, and I was recommended to listen to that one as an audiobook, which I did, and it was beautiful. I do feel like at times it's very obvious when a book has been written by a man, like the way they're describing the female characters, or in this case, like the main characters are women, and it can be really like blatant. But I had been told that he wrote really wonderful female characters, and I agree. Once again, in this one, in Afghanistan, you're following two mainly women who are pretty much forced to marry this man, and I definitely trigger warnings for domestic violence, and I just felt terrible for the female characters. Like, their stories are just so real. I think that's what makes it even more impactful. I felt all their emotions for them, the injustice, and he wrote them so convincingly. Like, these women really, truly exist in your mind. And I felt just so privileged to not be in their shoes. So definitely prepare the Kleenex, because this was a really, really tough book to read, but at the same time, just amazing. And I do recommend it. Obviously, these two books that he wrote that I mentioned are incredibly popular. Both of them have like over 1 million ratings on Goodreads. I'm a little bit late to the party here. I kept seeing the books at every like library sale or like used bookstores, and I never picked them up because I knew I was going to cry and I wasn't ready. And I didn't cry, but I definitely felt a lot of emotions while reading them, and they're very quotable. That's true. Especially in the beginning of the second book I mentioned, there are a few sections that were just so good, so good. So yes, highly recommend them. You've probably heard of them, but I'm at least confirming that they are worth the hype. You know it's coming. This Word of Kaijan. I have been mentioning it a lot, and I've been saying how I will not stop talking about it until everyone reads it. It is a fantastic standalone adult fantasy. It is incredibly underrated. It was self-published, so you might struggle to find it at your library. However, it is very affordable as an ebook, so I'll link that down below if you are interested. That's what I have. And I wasn't 100% sold in the beginning. The main female character, Misaki, really frustrated me. But it's on purpose. You have to like push through, even though it's still super enjoyable. Midpoint, I was sold. My heart was just like all over the place, and I could not put the book down for the second half. You're following this family, especially this main female character, who growing up, she went to an international school where she learned how to fight and magic and everything. And then she marries into a very traditional family, and they live in a small village who is being under attack by a different country. And a lot is going on, and you're following them in their daily life and then going through all of it. And you're also following her son, who is trying to live up to his family name and becoming, you know, powerful like them, and just trying to understand the pressure of what he had learned, has been told his whole life, and then the reality of it. And it's just really fantastic. Misaki's character's arc, is one of my favorite ever. Like, the second half of the book blew my mind, and I can't recommend this enough. Honestly, I know I've been talking about it a lot, but do it. I think there's like something like 5,000 ratings on Goodreads. It's ridiculous. This deserves like 100,000 plus. Let's talk about The Push. I also have been raving about that one, but it's awesome. I haven't liked a lot of mystery thrillers that I've read, I feel like, in the last couple of years. But this one finally is a good version of the premise of having a mom who has a child, usually it's a daughter, and you don't know if it's the mom that's going crazy or if there's something wrong with her child, and this is the best version that I've read. I feel like they tend to have very open ending, which I hate. This one is definitely much better than the other ones that I've read. And as always, the husband is super useless, and you just want to and what I liked about this one compared to the other versions that I've read is that there are some flashbacks to her mom's life and her growing up and everything, and kind of seeing like the 3-4, I guess, generations of women, and how there might be like some generational trauma or maybe some mental illness going on. And I really enjoyed it. It's not super long. It's like 300 pages, and it's a psychological thriller, so you really can't put it down. There are some hard scenes, a few that are pretty intense, so definitely keep that in mind if you're going to pick it up. But I really enjoyed it, and awesome. Messed up, but awesome. By the way, I'm not naked. I'm feeling a little bit like princessy. I kind of match Emily. Look at this. Hey girl. And last but definitely not least, before the special mentions, I decided to go with that one, which might be a bit more controversial. This was part of our Patreon book club. This is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. And it is an adult fantasy series, and it took a little while to get pretty intense. You can kind of tell that like the first half there aren't many post-its, and then the second half it's nonstop. I wasn't really sure how it felt in the beginning, because you're following this main character who doesn't really want to become like everyone else in his society and go and learn how to fight and become a soldier. He doesn't want to participate in the war. And it becomes an epic revenge story, which is one of my favorite tropes. And the magic system is interesting. It's kind of hard to mention anything without ruining it, but I can't wait to see more from this world. The second book is out, and I am planning on reading it this year for sure. I'm really curious. Plus, there are some dragons, but so far they're like a little like on the side. You're mainly following the main character in his story. There's some great friendships, and he's learning how to become the best fighter ever, and he's using some interesting methods. There's a romance, but it's not truly overpowering. There's just like one sex scene. And yes, I am really curious to get more of the magic system, the characters, and just see where this is going to go, because the ending was not what I was expecting in a good way. Some special mentions. I did overall enjoy An Unkindness of Ghost, which I haven't been super lucky, I feel like, with sci-fi where everyone is like on a big ship. And there are obviously like the common tropes of hierarchy, class, race, LGBTQ+, like homophobia, transphobia. And I really enjoyed that one. The main character is actually autistic too, which great representation, and it was just really interesting to see what direction it went into. I'm gonna keep it vague, but if you're looking for an interesting character-driven sci-fi, I would give that one a shot. So these are the best books that I have read during this quarter. I know some people are going to be wondering, where is Project Hail Marie? I can't put it in here. My explanation is that some parts of it are 5 stars. They're just amazing bits. And then some of the parts I was kind of bored. And I know unpopular opinion, but I can't talk about it without spoiling the whole thing. I'm just going to say that sometimes the scientific bits that I found super interesting in The Martian, I feel like in this case they would stop the story and then they would like be resolved like in a second. And I kind of just lost interest. I felt like the pauses were just too much for me, but I still overall really did enjoy it. So it's like a weird rating. I just feel weird about it. So like 3.5. So I didn't want to include it in this video, but just wanted to tell you. So that's gonna be it. Emily and me are gonna go and play princesses, clearly. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe. Please let me know in the comment section, what are the best books that you have read within this season? So April, May, and June. I want to know. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in a different video. Bye. Maybe I should be the one wearing the crown.